My name's Tim Buell, and today we're going to cover start to finish everything you need to know about running backing tracks in Ableton Live. And we're doing all of that today in under 10 minutes. So let's get started. First off, you need to buy Ableton. Buying Ableton, there's three kind of tiers. There's the intro, standard, and suite. And the intro will usually work for people just getting started that need basic tracks. And for most other people, the standard version is going to be fine. If you need to buy Ableton, you can visit the links in the description below. They'll take you to Sweetwater. Sweetwater sponsored this video. And from those links, you can buy whatever version you need. And when you do that, you don't pay anything extra, but you do help support this channel by getting me a little kickback for using my link. Now, let's get into interfaces that you need. If you're just starting out, you could probably get away with something like a Focusrite 4i4. Again, I'll leave a link in the description to Sweetwater for that. You're a little more professional, a little more advanced. I would look at the company iConnectivity because it gives you a little more features and things like that, and also gets you things like running redundant systems, which can be really important. Biggest thing to think about when buying interfaces are, is it compatible with your system, with your computer? And two, you need to focus on how many outputs it has. The more outputs, the better. Now we need to hop over to actually Ableton and start building. So when you get into Ableton, this is Ableton. What you're looking at here is arrangement view, and it's arranged like most people might be used to with DAWs, where you have your timeline down here, then you have your MIDI and audio tracks over to the side. If you hit the tab button, and as I teach all of this stuff, you'll see a bunch of key commands down there at the bottom as I do this. So keep an eye right here on any key commands that I use. Committing these key commands to memory is really important. So this is arrangement view. It's great. It's my favorite view. But if you hit tab, you get what's called session view, which here it's a little bit different. Here you can see all your audio and MIDI are kind of going in a vertical line. And then over here, you can see that we have, kind of each song in its little horizontal line, which we'll get more into that in a second. So this is session view. The first thing you need to do when you start a new session is save it to your hard drive. So I hit Command S to save, and then I'm going to title this YouTube. Okay, so now let's build our first backing track in session view. So what I want to do now is I want to open up the browser window. I'm going to hit Command Option B to bring up the browser window. And here you'll see that you can get either audio effects and plugins, which we're not worried about right now. What I really want to do in this browser window is I want to find the files that I want to load in. And I have a folder set up down here. If you want to find folders and add them to your library in the browser window, you can hit this Add Folder button here. But right now, I'm going to go to this YouTube folder, go to Backing Tracks, and let's do Commodity. So this song is at 145 BPM. It's listed in the kind of description of the folder right there. And what I want to do here is I want to add a little track that I can add all this stuff to. So what I want to do, go over here, right click and go to Scene and Tempo. And now you can see I can type in my song title there. And I want to make sure that this tempo here reads 145 and that this reads 4/4 time. Okay. So now this is all set up, ready to go. And for commodity, we have a drum stem, a percussion stem, and a track stem. So I'm going to get rid of some of these. And let's hit Command R to rename this drums. And then I'm going to hit Command T twice to add 2 more audio tracks. And I'm going to hit Command R, rename this perk, and then hit Tab, track. So I have my drums, perk, and track. And now I'm going to load in drums, percussion, and track, and I can close the browser window. So now I have those loaded up, and what I want to do is I want to go Command comma to bring up my settings, and there's a couple things we want to check before we play any audio. One, under this audio tab, you should see your interface here under the input and output devices. The other thing I want to do is go to Record, Warp, Launch, and make sure that Auto Warp Long Samples is off. This is a weird setting that I won't get into here in this video, but you just need to make sure it's off, otherwise it does some weird stuff. So now what I can do is I can come up here to the kind of horizontal line that we drug all our stuff in, and I can hit the button Enter. You can hear it's playing audio. To make sure that everything is routed correctly, you can hit the Command Option M to bring up your mixer window. And I want to make sure that all of this audio, all these audio tracks that I just set up are set to external output. And I want to make sure that the external output is output 1 and 2. And same with Q. You can see here, this is our metronome right here. You can click it on and off here, or you can hit Command K to set up a keyboard shortcut. When you're in this view, anything that's lit up orange, you can program to have a specific key command that you want. So mine is number pad 7. So I can toggle the metronome on and off with a key command now. And down here, Q out. You want to make sure that you can hear the metronome, and the Q out is also, the metronome. So right now it's set to 1 and 2. all of our outputs for the tracks that we set up are 1 and 2. So this is good to go. The last thing I want to do in session view is, let's say that we want to change the key of this song. So we want to take this song down a whole step. What I want to do is double click this, or I can hit Command Option L to bring up my loop browser. I'm going to close the mixer window, Command Option M. And this is basically showing me a waveform of this audio track that I pulled in. And what I want to do is I want to go down here to warp. And I want to click warp. After it's done warping and analyzing, I want to make sure that this BPM is still set for the original tempo of the song. And that's 145, so it is. So we're good to go there. And now all I have to do to change the pitch of this song, I'm not going to change the pitch of the drum stem or the percussion stem because they're not pitched instruments, but I'm just going to drag this down to -2. Each minus or plus is a half step. So to get it down a whole step, I need to go -2. And now when I play this song, you can hear it's the same tempo it was, but the pitch is now changed, which is very cool. And I can keep dragging this down. So that's session view. If I want to add another song, you can just do this all over again. Go down to this next little horizontal line, drag in my audio here, and I'm good to go. So let's build a song in arrangement view. Let's hit tab to go over to arrangement view. And right now you'll see that we have kind of a grayed out section here, and you have this little orange thing here and this orange thing here. And that means, hey, you were doing some stuff over in session view, so we don't want to mess with arrangement view right now. So all you have to do to undo this is hit that, and we're good to go now. All the audio tracks that we set up are actually copied over here, but none of the audio that we drug in are copied over here. Session view and arrangement view are linked only in that when you add audio and MIDI tracks, they show up in both places. But whatever audio or MIDI you drag into one or the other, they don't copy between each other. So I want to do a different song here. I'm going to bring up my browser and I'm going to go to Born Wild. And now I have bass, drums, guitar pads, and percussion. I'm going to hit Command T to add a couple more tracks. And I'm going to name this one bass. Now I'm just going to go ahead and drag this stuff in after I set my tempo. And right here, you can see the tempo of the song is 78. So what I want to do is I want to hit this little automation button here that will allow me to automate things. And I'm going to go down to this main track here, and I'm going to go to select song tempo. And now I'm going to change the project tempo right here to 78. And then I'm going to simply click down here. And now you can see this line went from a dotted line to a solid line, which means that Ableton has locked in that this automation here in this section is 78 BPM. Now drag in these stems. So I can go to bass, and here I'm going to turn off the automation. Now you can see we have our song loaded in. I can close the browser and hit plus to zoom in arrangement view. And now in arrangement view, I can hit spacebar. What I want to do now is I want to actually drop markers. So to do that, I can set up a key command, Command K, to bring up that program key command setting. And you can see that my set marker button here is set to M. So if I close Command K, I can hit the letter M, and then I can click this and rename it Born Wild. And then I'm just going to go through the song and drop markers where I need to. Okay, and I can zoom out. Now I have my markers set up, and that's great. So now let's say you're on a gig and you want to build your own little headphone mix from your interface. You want to make sure that front of house has all these tracks so that they can change it. But what you don't want front of house to have, if you're the only one on click track, is click track and like counts and stuff like that. And let's actually go ahead and add a count in. I'm going to build another audio track with Command T. I'm going to open up this. I'm going to go down here to count, and I'm going to drag in counts 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I'm just going to basically drag these where they need to go. 1, 2. Option click to duplicate it and drag it. And then I'm going to highlight all of this and hit Command J to join them. And now I have a nice little count in. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to bring up my mixer window, and what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to set up a return, a send track, so that it only sends to me in my headphones out of output 3 and 4 of my interface. So I'm going to right click here, and I'm going to go to insert return track. And this is my return track. I'm going to hit Command R to rename headphones. And on this headphones, I'm going to make sure that it's routed to external output 3 and 4. And then I'm going to go down here to the Q out, which is our metronome, and I'm going to hit output 3 and 4 there. What I can do now is I can basically build my own little headphone mix using the return tracks here. So I can turn up the track here, turn up drums, turn up percussion. Maybe I only want a little bit of bass and I want a little bit of guitars and just a tiny bit of pads, but then I want count-ins loud. And now all of these are being sent to outputs 3 and 4 via this return. And we're kind of good to go here. So that's building your first 2 songs in, as backing tracks in Ableton. So if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to, if you enjoyed this, subscribe to the channel because there's more stuff like this coming all the time. And second, this was a very, very fast video. So if you have more questions about backing tracks and you want those answered, I actually have a full course, Live Gigging for the Working Musician, that has an entire module dedicated to backing tracks. And it gives you a deep dive into everything we talked about today, but much more thoroughly. And then it also comes with, backing tracks. The backing tracks you heard today, you can download those, use those as you follow along in the lessons. You can build your backing tracks with me. Really, really great way to learn backing tracks. And the course comes with a ton of other stuff too. But if you can't buy the course, can't afford it right now, or you just don't want to, no worries. Drop a comment below and, just let me know what you're curious about. I'll answer as many of those questions as I can. Or you can pop over to my website. There's a contact page and you can just fill that out and I'll answer the questions as best I can.